everybody. It's your girl Evie again. I'm coming back to you about Law and Order Organized Crime. That's right, Season 1, Episode 3. Say hello to my little friends. And this episode was kind of cute. It was kind of cute. It was daring. It was bold at the same time. So, how did it begin? We see a recap of what happened. The stolen vaccines. We see Stabler meeting Richard. We see Sinatra being killed. We see his body. We see Elliott see his body. And we see Elliott's face because he didn't got an ass whooping, okay? He didn't took an ass whooping out the can, okay? But we also see that Stabler and Bell need to team up this time to investigate a major lead that could possibly tie to Richard Wheatley. Well, let's talk about it, right? So what happened? Elliott is being asked by his boss and Sergeant Bell what happened and who jumped him. And he said he don't know. He don't know who did it to him. Sergeant Ariana Bell asked him if it was personal. Elliott is not sure. We see Richard in his office. Isaac, his henchman, is there, right? So and then we also see a real estate developer there. So Richard is kind of going off on his real estate developer because obviously this guy has asked for more money for whatever Richard has asked him to do. And Richard has this octopus in this thing in here in his office, a real octopus. Okay, whatever. But he tells him, he says, look, the octopus is such a good creature. It has 3 hearts. It has this. It has that. It's an escape artist. It gets hungry and then it devours stuff. So I see what's the writing on the wall at this point. I'm like, he gonna feed the guy to the octopus, right? But I'm like, how's the octopus gonna eat a whole person? Stay focused. Stay focused. So anyway, Isaac grabs the guy and he starts dunking him in the thing with the octopus. And the octopus like, yeah. So he getting up there. He putting his little tentacles on his face. You know what I'm saying? Trying to grab him. And the guy's like, whoa, I'm going to be all right. I'm going to do what you say. I don't even need no money. What money? Okay, I got this. So Richard like, yeah, you do. You really do. You going to do what I say? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do what you say. So he lets the boy go. He lets the man go. So I'm like, he crazy, you know? So I'm like, this guy is nuts. Cue the music. Dun, 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 dun. You know, so meantime, we see Sergeant Ayanna Bell in her element. I mean, she's in her bed with her wife. I think that she's her wife, Denise. But she has to go to work. And Denise tells her, well, you just got here. You know, she's like, I know, but I got to go to work. She sees a phone call come in. She sees the little text or whatever it is, and she has to get ready. And Denise tells her, be mindful of Richard Wheatley, because I know you're thinking about me. I know you're thinking about you. I know you're thinking about our baby. Because Denise is pregnant, and they're expecting a baby boy. So she's like, you know, think about our son. So then we cut to Stabler's kids, Eli and his sister. She brings in some breakfast for him and they talk about their dad. Well, you know, Elliott's been having bad dreams every other night. And it's mostly about his wife, you know, Kathy. So, you know, he told his son what to do in the event of an emergency after this particular thing happened where he got into the fight with Eli outside, almost being kidnapped or hurt or something. We don't really know what happened because he interfered with it. He intervened. So Eli was safe. But his father's face, man, okay, like, damn. Okay. But anyway, the sister's like, Dad, look, he can't stay here. Because it's not safe. He can't stay here with you. And he's like, okay, well, he can go to such and such house. And Eli's like, no, I'm not leaving Dad. I'm not leaving Dad like this. And she says, Dad, you have a crime wall on the wall. All you do is think about this crime. You don't think about Eli and his safety. He can't stay here. His daughter thinks that he's obsessive at this point, and really he is. He needs to solve this crime. He needs to know who killed Kathy and why. He needs to get Richard Wheatley. He feels like this guy is tied to the death of his wife in some way. And now tied to his ass whooping, okay? But anyway, his daughter thinks not only that he's being obsessive, but she thinks he needs medication. She thinks he needs to calm down and actually see someone about what's going on with him. I agree. He could have PTSD at this point, and he's really sad. He can't sleep. I'm sure he can't eat. You know, her father's face is so bad. He has so many bruises on his face. Y'all saw it. I mean, y'all saw how bad he looked, how Elliott looked. She wants him to get help quick. She knows he needs it. And then I think Elliott knows he needs it. He's just not ready to deal with it right now. Well, we cut to seeing Elliott at work. They're using all their usual resources to try to get to the bottom of these black market vaccines. Then we cut to Richard and his daughter, Dana, and they're talking about the missing vaccines. And in walks Dana's mom, Angela. Now, Angela is his ex-wife, Richard's ex-wife. And she walks in there, but she's also the mother of all of his kids, right? She's concerned. She thinks that Richard is using Dana and that Dana's going to get further and further into all of this and it's going to get her in trouble legally and she may end up dead. So she's concerned. She tells Richard she needs to use his office to do books because she knows his office is very secure. So the new girl, she's in there working her magic, her tech magic on the computer. And she writes a program to get them the information that they need. Then Detective Washburn, y'all remember him, right? He says that he just got a hit from the ATF for a ballistics match off a database for the bullet that they pulled out of Sinatra's skull. But where did they find this? Virginia. Really? Okay. So now they have to travel to Virginia. It seems the case is there. So Sergeant Bell drives. You know, Elliott says, why you want to drive no way? You know? So she drives and she's driving kind of fast. He's getting kind of nervous. He's fidgety. And she has a conversation with him while they're going down there. She says, look, I know you the man. I know you got all this time on the force. You got the experience. You got the big paycheck. You know, you have the workability. I get it. I respect you, period. But what I want you to know is we're partners. Me and you, we're partners. We in this together. And he says, okay, I understand that. And she's like, well, check some boxes for me. Assess me right quick. And he says, well, black, female, gay. Now, how could he know that? He don't know her personally. But Elliott is so astute in his awareness of people that he can check those boxes for her because he's so observant. He does a good job and he doesn't even know her like that. He's perceptive and she acknowledges his skills. She tells them that he crossed a lot of lines back in the day, but she don't have that luxury. As a black female and being gay, she doesn't get that luxury to cross those lines. I mean, who does at this point? If you're African American or any other nationality besides, you know, Caucasian. Not to say that they don't have it rough at their job too, because they do. But sometimes opportunities are not always given to us when they should be, when they're well deserved, and we get pushed over. And that's what she's saying. She don't have the luxury to mess up. If she messes something up, her career is over. Well, they make it to Virginia. A female has been shot. They go to the coroner's office. They find out that, you know, he pulls the little curtain back and he says, da-da. And they like, who is this? At the same time, they like, who is this? They're so in tune with each other, in sync with each other already. It kind of reminds me of him and Olivia. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but maybe it can be tight like him and Olivia. I hope so. But anyway, the lady that's been shot, her name is Jocelyn Howe. She's a businesswoman in business development. And she is laid out in the coroner's office with a bullet through her head. And guess what? That bullet matches the bullet that went through Sinatra's head, Richard's father. Remember? Okay, so they're solving a crime there, it seems. And what they find out is that in Virginia, it's the cheapest electricity in the nation. And that not only that, the permits are being given out so people can get these server farms. And once you get control of a server farm, you know, that's the money right there. Why pay someone if you can own it? And Richard was talking to the Guardo family about doing just that before. And how do they know that? Because Sergeant Ayanna Bell, she has an undercover working in there where she has infiltrated the Guardo family. We know her to be Gina Capoletti, the girl at the bar. Remember her? She's involved with Joey. That's where she is. So anyway, the real estate guy that was almost drowned by Richard and the octopus, remember that? Well, he packing. He packing dog food. He done got his dog in his arm. He like, I'm out of here. So he packing. He's running scared. Gets in the car, pulls off, tries to pull out of the parking garage where he stays. Elliott steps out there with the badge, just like, stop. So now he has to stop. So now they got him. And they asked him some questions. He tells them that the Contrappo server farm is huge and can draw huge amounts of power without the EPA knowing, anything about it pretty much. I mean, it's not up to the guidelines that they use, but, with these permits going out, who cares? Richard paid Jocelyn over $100,000 to look the other way with this. But she got greedy and wanted $25,000 more. So instead of her $25,000, she got a bullet. Bullets, okay? Now they used the real estate guy to get Richard to watch his new server room via live feed. So he says, well, I hope you're going to be pleased, Mr. Wheatley. This is your new server room. Here we go. Now, he steps away. Who steps up next? Oh, you want me to tell you? Okay. Elliott. Elliott steps right in front of him. He's like, well, this is canceled. He cuts the feed and he basically cuts the power to his server room. So now it can't be used. Well, Richard is pissed. He's pissed, and he's pissed at Elliott, and he's like, I'm going to kill this guy. He don't say that, but you could see that look on his face, like, I'm going to kill this guy. Well, Elliott gets a call on his cell, and it's Angela. Whose side is she on? I mean, she working Richard, she working her kids, she working Elliott. Well, she meets Elliott in a grocery store. But before they get there, Elliott tries to trace her phone. Well, the whiz kid, the computer girl, she can't even trace it. So she's like, this is kind of unusual if I can't do my thing. So he finds out from Angela in the grocery store, the reason why she couldn't be traced is because Richard's room is a Faraday cage. Well, what's a Faraday cage? I'm glad you asked. A Faraday cage is somewhere where electromagnetic pulses or electromagnetic waves cannot come in there. So basically, it's a room where no machinery outside of it can influence it. They can't hear what he's saying. They can't document what he's saying. In order for them to know anything that's going on in that room, they need to put a bug in there. So they think. Well, anyway, so that's why he couldn't trace her. She's untraceable in there. Basically, she's not there. So Elliott inquires, why are you helping me? And she says, well, I want to help my daughter. I think Richard is using her. She's going to get hurt. So this is what I want you to do. Kind of like, look in on her. And he says, well, how can I really help? And she tells him to stop by the charity event that Richard and Dana are giving tonight to give those vaccines to the community and give back. So they're going to be having some type of big to-do about giving vaccinations out. That people are going to be getting shots for free. And that's a good thing, but not if they stolen, So Elliott gets there. The underserved are there. But let's back up a minute. Before he leaves the grocery store, she pays for her groceries because she's been getting groceries, Angela is. And when she gets up to the counter, she pays for the groceries. And she tells the boy, because he says, ma'am, your groceries. And she says, well, they're not for me, they're for him. Because his son deserves to eat something more than rotten Chinese food. Because she knows Elliott is wild, he's wilding out. And he ain't feeding his kid like he should be. He ain't feeding himself like he should be. So he's impressed with that. And he gives her a little smile. So I like that about her. She's perceptive too. So anyway, we cut to the scene where he is in the charity event. Elliott has now gone in there. But prior to him getting there, Angela has tried to talk to Dana. And Dana's like, Mom, I know what I'm doing. She's like, no, you don't. Your dad's using you. And she's like, whatever, Mom. So she goes up there and she introduces her father. And she tells everybody about the vaccination party that they're going to be having tonight. And of course, the community is pumped. They're like, we need these vaccinations. COVID is running rampant. Thank you, And he's like, you're welcome. So Elliott shows up to the community center. He tells Angela, look, get your daughter up there away from Richard because we're about to arrest him. And if you don't want her arrested, you better get her. So Richard sees Elliott, and Elliott gets right up there in front of him. And he's like, whoa, do you know my name now? And Richard looks at him like, I hate you. So Sergeant Bell tells Richard, we're going to be checking these lot numbers because we know this stuff up in here is stolen. And he's like, do what you do. I'm good. Ain't nothing up here stolen. You ain't going to find nothing. She's like, we're going to shut you down. And he's like, okay, go ahead, check. So they run around. They got their guys in there. They check the serial numbers on the vaccines, and none of them match the lot numbers of the stolen vaccines. So they cannot shut him down. He ain't stupid. His father was Sinatra. I think he learned a little bit along the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, he good to go. So they tell him, okay, one last ditch effort. They say, well, you need a permit. And he's like, I got one. And they like, no, you don't, because it takes 10 days to get it at the minimum. And he's like, but the mayor gave me this permit right here because he was so grateful for what I was doing for the community. So they like, oh my goodness. So he throws a final jab up in there telling Elliott, I hope your face don't hurt too much. What? Elliott looks at him like, I hate you and I'm gonna get you. Then he tells him, for the final kill, he tells him, oh yeah, and while you here, get vaccinated on me, my treat. Like, they hate this dude, right? They can't wait to bring him in. So Elliott confronts Isaac, his henchman, and he believes that he's from the Middle East. So to prove it, he's trying to go over there to see how he talks. Well, while he's doing that, Isaac's trying to grab his gun. Well, Elliott ain't having it. He grabs that gun so fast and turns it around on him. I'm like, what happened? I blinked. What happened? He disarms him so fast. And then he finds out eventually through a search of this guy that comes up that he's special forces and he is from the Middle East. We see the guys doing surveillance on Isaac. They find out that he's going to be going away with his girlfriend this weekend. And they figure, we can get him. We can get him this weekend. We just need a plan. So we cut to a scene where we see Sergeant Bell running. When we see that she catches up with a girl that looks kind of like Gina, but because she doesn't have all the makeup on, I didn't think that was Gina at first, but it is. She's an undercover. Remember I was telling you that? So she tells her, look, I need you to put a bug into Richard's wine cellar so we can hear what's going on. But first of all, you got to get an invitation. She knows that Gina has got the eye of Richie, who is Richard's son. Not only is she peeping Joey and going out with him, but now Richie wants to go out with her. So back at the office, like I told you, they find out what Isaac is doing, that he's going to be meeting his girlfriend. Meantime, we see Richie walk in with his boys to the club because he going to confront Joey because he figured, I want Gina, you shouldn't have her. So he brings some boys. Of course, it breaks out in a fight. And Isaac is called in because Richie's losing, like I thought he would. These are Italians. They not finna play. Not that black people can't fight because we can get down. But I didn't think that Richie was ready for this. You know what I'm saying? So Isaac gets called in because he works for Richie's dad, Richard Wheatley. And he kind of breaks it up. But when Richard comes through there, I'm like, oh, okay. They didn't call the dad up in here. So I'm thinking Richie is going to be, vindicated and they finna, shoot Joey. But that's not what happens. Richard comes in there and he apologizes to Joey for Richie getting up in his face. So he takes Richie out and he says, Dad, why would you do that? Why would you front me like that in front of all these people? And he's like, look, I did you a favor. So obviously this Joey dude ain't nobody to play with, okay? So Gina comes out. She apologizes to Richard about Richie and Joey. And he says, well, now I see what you like about her. Why don't you go ahead and invite her son to your 30th birthday party? Did I mention last time he 30? Why you having a birthday party? Your parents throwing you a birthday party? You need Barney to be there or something? Anyway, whatever. Stay focused. So they're throwing him a 30th birthday party. And Richard says, invite her. So now she's got her invite. Now she's got to weigh in. Let's see if she can plant the bug this time. So Isaac is going to Nyack for the night. You know, he clears it with Richard. He says, look, boss, do you need me anymore? And Richard says, no, I don't need you anymore for the night. So he jumps on his motorcycle and he's riding through the city. He rides out of the city and then he's accosted in the middle of the street. The police throw the floodlights on him. He can't really see. He kind of stops. He notices the police are there. Then he turns around and tries to flee, but they throw the chains and the spikes out there. So if he runs over it, it's going to bust his tires on his motorcycle. So he turns the other way. But Elliott cuts him off, and he wipes out right there in front of his car. So he's like, yeah, you under arrest, buddy. So he arrests him, and he's like, you under arrest for the murder of Jocelyn and Sinatra, which is Richard's dad. And he's like, you ain't got nothing on me. Prove it. And he's like, you want to bet your life on it? So we got another case that seems to be solved. Seems to be. I mean, and it involves Richard Wheatley. I'm saying that wrong. Wheatley. But y'all, whose side is Angela on? I know she's on the side of her kids. But is she working with Richard too? Are we going to find some stuff about her too? I hope you like this content. Please hit the like button for me. I appreciate it. Please subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share everywhere. I love you guys. I'll be focused on getting this content to you guys as much as I possibly can. Like I said before, I'll be covering Law and Order SVU and also Law and Order Organized Crime. I love you guys so much. God bless you. Until next time, God bless you guys. Have a great one.